going to the weapons manufacturers, because a lot of Congress, both sides, has investments. The late Dianne Feinstein had the most investments. I think it was like $250,000 alone in just Boeing. But the R9X Hellfire missile, which is what some people suspect, has the blades that just amputates. It's not even, I mean, people aren't even being killed by it. They're just being maimed. So how did you come up with going to those places?
I think the weapons manufacturers, it's appalling how much money is made off of war and fear-mongering. I think so often we look at these issues as just humanitarian human rights issues. They are absolutely not. There are economic benefits to weapons manufacturers. There's also economic benefits to politicians. In the United States, in this building right behind me, AIPAC, a foreign interest group can buy the voices of politicians. That in and of itself, as someone who is an immigrant to this country who believed in the American dream, I found it very hard to understand and to make sense of how much lobbying influences politicians that are supposedly here to represent the people. But in fact, they're here to represent not only their political interests, but also their economic interests. And that in of itself is just very hard still for me to reconcile and to deal with as an immigrant, a proud American, but as an immigrant to this country. That said, weapons manufacturers, the income of these companies shot up massively the day of the attacks. A lot of these companies are directly supporting aid, or directly supporting weapons distributions to Israel. Some of them have long-standing relationships with manufacturing and distributing weapons. And if you look at the scale of the weapons that are being sent, the destruction that they make, the financial machine behind it, I mean, our banks are complicit with loans to these companies. Our institutions are complicit with endorsing these companies. A lot of weapons companies also get investments and funding from politicians. I mean, the interweb of the injustice is beyond just a human rights issue. It's beyond just a humanitarian issue. And I think until we start to expose it, until we start to bring it into the light, and until we start to talk about the economic and financial and political benefits to what is happening right now to the people, in Gaza and the Palestinian people, we're not going to start to change hearts and minds in a way that to deconstruct the structures that not only enable this, but enable it at scale and completely are able to squash opposition, because they have so much power in so many different institutions and industries. And that's what we're trying to expose. And hopefully more and more young people are starting to say, no, I will not invest into those companies. I will not vote for those politicians. I will not endorse the fact that lobby powers is what gets people into power. And that's what we're here to hopefully provide.